The Power of the Dog. That's right, folks. Within the span of 1 year, Netflix made two westerns. Is this really a western, though? Kind of, sorta. It's more just like, yeah, I guess it's a western. It's in Montana. It's in the 20s. Yeah. So, Power of the Dog. I've heard a lot of things about this when I went into it. It was being touted as this great piece, this philosophical discussion about romance, love, and heartbreak, and just, being a man and what it means to be a man and all that stuff. And I think it's pretty solid. I mean, it might have been overhyped to me just because some of the, critics and reviews I read really praised this thing to be special and unique. And it is. I think it's rare that we get films like this sometimes. It happens every now and then. I would hearken this to something maybe like Moonlight, where it's just nobody would expect this genre to play with that trope, essentially. But when it does, it's just special and fun. And it's creative, and I did enjoy it. So it is set in the 20s. These wealthy brothers, they have this big old mansion. They're these rancher boys. One of them falls in love with this woman who's just like a widow, and her son, who is this specially gifted kid who is very, kind of just different in ways that it both says and doesn't say. And that's very interesting. So this new wife moves into their big old ranching house, and some tensions ensue. And it's really fun. And fun maybe might be the wrong word because it's not like intentionally fun. It's a good watch because you are, invested in everything happening. The characters feel realistic and authentic, which is something I really enjoyed just because some other films this year have really just struggled to capture like the authenticity, not only of the time period, but of like somebody going through these feelings. And it works really well. I think Kirsten Dunst and what's his name, Jesse Plemons, they have great chemistry, maybe because they're married off screen, but they're just like, you buy just like these two people who crave intimacy but don't know how to express it, play off each other, and how she worries about her son. And I can't remember the name of the boy that plays her son, but holy cow, this kid is interesting to look at. And I'm not saying that as a negative, he is just weird. And it's kind of interesting just the way he presents himself. I really enjoy that. It's a great performance too, just committing to that kind of style, and I think it's very powerful. And speaking of powerful, Benedict Cumberbatch delivers a surprisingly dark performance. He has gone to some interesting places in his career, and I think that's great. He's a strong actor who knows what his range is, but this is just kind of playing the villain in essence. He's a little more arrogant. He's committing to that American voice that it's better this time than in other American films he does. This is a little bit better. And it sounds more gruff and just interesting. And seeing the progression of pretty much his entire story is really what makes this for me. I think that just the way he presents himself to this new nephew of his, the way he presents himself to this new sister-in-law, it's very impressive. It's very interesting. And I just think it's very creative and cool. It surprises me that he did that. I think the metaphors that this is presenting, or the story beats that it says happen, but we don't actually see, really hold this together, because I think, again, a lesser movie would need us to see some of those events as opposed to the metaphor of what it means when he's holding a certain cloth, or when he's just, basking in the mountain glory. When you just see those things, there's more impact to them than if we had to expressly say them or show them, which is pretty cool. And, the camera work is great. I really like the use of just wide lenses, just seeing the big shots and the big scope of things. It feels very authentic to ranching, and I'm not a big Western guy. I mean, there's been some hits over the past couple years. I could never get into Yellowstone. I think this was just a little more interesting than that because it might have been just a little more like a writer's work as opposed to capturing the world. It's just more yeah, let's get poetic and weird with it. And that just interests me a little bit more. But this movie really tried to do certain things, and I appreciate that. It just stood out amongst a lot of other stuff in a similar genre to it. Instead of trying to, be authentic, it's we're telling a story. It's heartbreaking. It's tragic. People get hurt. It doesn't need to be clean. We're not going to make it clean. And that's something that I admire and I respect in a filmmaker. Jane Campion did this, and it works. It really works. Just her entire directing, she said, we're telling this story. If you like it, you're going to like it. If you don't, you're not going to like it. And it just was strong. and powerful and had some great stuff in it, but I can't get over the fact that Benedict Cumberbatch delivered an incredible performance amongst a stellar cast of a great backdrop. Everything about this worked in a way I wasn't expecting. Was it as powerful or strong as some of the other critics might be saying? I don't know, but it's one that you're going to walk away thinking about. It's going to make you go, oh, okay, so he was doing this the way that this was done to him in an essence. You're like, oh, this is why the mother feels this way, or why the other brother lets these things happen, or that kind of stuff. Very fascinating and a very good film. So, The Power of the Dog, I am going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. I will catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.